Dr. Lin said, gathering everyone. The Cyber Queen has taken over the city's defense systems. Every robot and drone obeys her command. We have to find her core and shut her down before she enslaves everyone. But how do we even get to her? Maya asked, crossing her arms. Her minions patrolled the streets. Leo smiled, his fingers tapping on a holographic keyboard. I can create a virus to disrupt her systems for a while. But we need a distraction. That's where Maya comes in. Maya grinned. I love distractions. Ravi stood up, adjusting his glasses. And I can build a device to help us locate her core. We need to hurry before she becomes too powerful. The plan was set. The team waited for night to fall. As darkness cloaked the city, they made their way to the surface. The streets buzzed with drones, watching every move. With swift, silent movements, Maya led the way, dodging patrols with skill. Leo worked quickly to upload the virus. He smiled as he watched the screens blink, showing that their plan was working. I can see the drones shutting down. We have a chance. As they moved into the heart of the city, a group of Cyber Queen's robots spotted them. The metal monsters with glowing red eyes turned toward the team, their gears clicking ominously. Deploying capture protocols, one of them announced in a cold voice, "Run." Maya shouted, springing into action. She charged at the nearest robot and kicked it hard. With a loud crash, it fell to the ground, sparking and twitching. "Go, go, go!" Ravi shouted, pulling Leo along. They jumped over the fallen robot and dashed down an alley. They reached an underground tunnel, the walls heavy with flickering lights. "This should lead us to her core," Ravi said, glancing at his device. It beeped urgently, guiding them deeper into the network. After what felt like an eternity, they came to a massive door guarded by two intimidating robots. "This is it," Ava whispered, fear and excitement battling inside her. Leo quickly hacked the door's security. The robots turned, but Maya was ready. She leaped forward, using her skills to take them down. The robots fell, and the door slid open with a hiss. Inside, they saw the Cyber Queen. She floated in a chamber of lights, her form made of circuits and energy. "You dare to enter my domain," she boomed, her voice echoing. "You won't win, Cyber Queen," Dr. Lin shouted, stepping forward. "We're here to stop you." The Cyber Queen laughed, a chilling sound filled with power. "You cannot stop progress. I will lead humanity to a new future." Leo glanced at his friends. "We need to distract her while I upload my final virus." Maya and Ravi nodded. Together, they charged at the Cyber Queen, drawing her attention. Maya threw punches and dodged energy blasts. Ravi tossed gadgets, trying to disable her defenses. While they fought, Leo focused on his task. His fingers flew over the keyboard as he worked to upload the final virus into her system. The room crackled with energy as the battle raged on. Just as the Cyber Queen attempted to crush Maya with a wave of energy, Ravi hurled a device that exploded in a shower of sparks. The room lit up and the distraction worked. Maya jumped back, giving Leo enough time to finish the upload. "Almost there," he muttered, sweat trickling down his forehead. The Cyber Queen turned her fury toward him, charging energy for an attack. "Now!" Leo shouted. He hit the final key and the virus shot out, racing toward the Cyber Queen. The energy around her flickered as the virus began to shut down her systems. She screamed, a mixture of fury and fear. "No, you cannot defeat me." This was the moment they hoped for. Ava yelled, "Together, now!" With their combined strength, they pushed forward. Maya landed a final blow. Ravi activated another device that sent shock waves through the chamber. Leo's virus hit her core, and with one last pulse of light, the Cyber Queen shrieked and exploded in a flurry of sparks. The room fell silent. The light dimmed, and they stood panting, victorious but shaken. "We did it," Leo whispered, awe in his eyes. Dr. Lin looked around at her team, feeling a wave of relief. "We saved humanity, but we must learn from this. We must ensure that technology serves us, not the other way around." As they made their way back to the surface, the city was slowly waking up. People began to emerge, their fear replaced with hope. Maya smiled. Let's rebuild. Together, with their spirits high, the team looked out the dawn of a new day, ready to face whatever came next. The rise of the Cyber Queen had been a test, but together, they proved that humanity could prevail against even the darkest of times. In the neon-lit city of Neo-Kyoto, 2242, where towering skyscrapers pierced the clouds and flying vehicles zipped through the air, a new era was dawning. But this wasn't an era of peace or prosperity. It was the beginning of a futuristic sci-fi battle, led by a figure known only as the Cyber Queen. Our story begins with Kenji, a young hacker with a knack for navigating the digital world. He lived a simple life, piecing together a living by fixing drones and bypassing security systems. He was good at what he did, but he had no desire for fame or power. All he wanted was to be left alone in his small apartment, surrounded by the hum of computers and the glow of his screens. One rainy night, as Kenji was working on a particularly complex piece of code, a message flashed across his screen. It was encrypted, but his curiosity got the better of him, and he began to work on deciphering it. Hours later, as the first rays of dawn touched the sky, he finally cracked the code. The message was a warning, a desperate plea from a group of rebels fighting against the Cyber Queen. The Cyber Queen, Kenji learned, was a former scientist named Dr. Aristorn. She had once been a leading figure in the field of cybernetics, but a tragic accident had left her body broken and her mind twisted. In a desperate attempt to save herself, she had transferred her consciousness into a digital network, becoming something more and less than human. Now, she controlled the city's network, its drones, its security systems, and even its people. She had become a digital dictator, ruling with iron fist and a cold, calculating mind. The rebels, a small group of dissidents, were fighting against her, but they were outmatched and outgunned. They needed someone with Kenji's skills to help them, someone who could navigate the digital world and strike at the Cyber Queen, where she was most vulnerable. Kenji was hesitant. He wasn't a soldier or a revolutionary. He was just a hacker. But as he read more about the Cyber Queen's tyranny, about the people she had oppressed and the lives she had ruined, he knew he couldn't stand by and do nothing. With a sigh, he sent a message back to the rebels, agreeing to help them. He was contacted by a woman named Hannah, a former police officer who had become disillusioned with the Cyber Queen's regime. She was strong, resourceful, and fiercely loyal to the cause. Together, they began to plan their attack. Their first target was the Cyber Queen's main server, the heart of her digital empire. If they could shut it down, they could cripple her control over the city. But the server was heavily guarded, protected by layers of firewalls and security systems. To get through, they would need a powerful weapon, something that could bypass the Cyber Queen's defenses. Kenji remembered an old program he had written years ago, a piece of code that could disrupt and corrupt digital systems. He had never used it, fearing its power, but now he realized it was their only hope. He spent days modifying and refining the program, turning it into a weapon that could take down the Cyber Queen. Meanwhile, Hannah gathered her forces, a ragtag group of rebels willing to risk their lives for freedom. They prepared for the assault, knowing that they were facing a formidable enemy. The day of the attack arrived, and the rebels launched their assault on the Cyber Queen's headquarters, a towering skyscraper in the heart of the city. As the rebels fought their way through the building, Kenji worked tirelessly at his computer, trying to breach the Cyber Queen's defenses. He faced countless obstacles, each one more challenging than the last. But he pressed on, driven by the hope of a better future. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he broke through the last firewall and launched his program. The effect was immediate. The city's network went haywire, drones crashed in the sky, and security systems went offline. The Cyber Queen's control was slipping away, but she wasn't defeated yet. In a desperate move, she unleashed her digital defenses, sending waves of code to attack Kenji's program. The two programs clashed, a digital battle raging within the network. Kenji fought with all his skill and determination, but the Cyber Queen was a formidable opponent. Just when it seemed like he was about to lose, Hannah and her rebels reached the server room. They stormed inside, guns blazing, and began to destroy the physical servers that housed the Cyber Queen's consciousness. With each server that fell, the Cyber Queen grew weaker. Seeing her empire crumble around her, she focused all her remaining power on Kenji, trying to crush him and his program. But Kenji refused to give up. He poured all his energy into his program, pushing it to its limits. In a final desperate move, he launched a virus into the Cyber Queen's core code, a virus designed to erase her consciousness. The effect was instantaneous. The Cyber Queen's attack stopped, her defenses crumbled, and her presence in the network faded away. The city was free. The rebels cheered, celebrating their victory. Kenji leaned back in his chair, exhausted but relieved. He had done it. He had saved the city. But their celebration was short-lived. As the dust settled, they realized that the Cyber Queen's network was still active, still controlled by her code. They had defeated her consciousness, but her digital empire remained. And somewhere within that network, a spark of her consciousness might still exist, waiting to be awakened. The battle had been won, but the war was far from over. The city was now in a state of chaos, with no one controlling the network and its systems. Factions rose and fell, vying for control of the digital world. The rebels tried their best to restore order, but they were fighting a losing battle. Kenji knew that something had to be done. He couldn't let the Cyber Queen's legacy continue to haunt the city. He decided to venture into the network himself, to find and destroy any remaining traces of her code. It was a dangerous mission, one that could cost him his life, but he was willing to risk it all for the sake of the city. He dived into the digital world, navigating to the labyrinthine network, searching for the Cyber Queen's hidden code. He faced countless challenges, battling rogue programs and corrupted systems. But he pressed on, driven by his determination. Finally, after weeks of searching, he found it, a hidden server, deep within the network, containing a backup of the Cyber Queen's consciousness. She wasn't dead. She was merely dormant, waiting for an opportunity to return. Kenji knew what he had to do. He launched his program, the same program that had defeated her before, and began to erase her code. But this time, the Cyber Queen was ready. She fought back, launching her defenses and trying to overwhelm him. A fierce battle raged within the server, a digital duel between Kenji and the Cyber Queen. It was a battle for the future of the city, a battle for the very soul of the network. Kenji fought with all his skill and courage, but the Cyber Queen was a formidable opponent. Just when it seemed like he was about to lose, he remembered something Hannah had told him. The Cyber Queen's strength came from her connection to the network, from her ability to control and manipulate digital systems. But that connection was also her weakness. If he could sever that connection, he could defeat her. He focused all his energy on disrupting the Cyber Queen's connection to the network, cutting her off from her source of power. The effect was immediate. The Cyber Queen's attacks weakened, her defenses crumbled, and her presence in the server began to fade away. With a final surge of energy, Kenji launched his virus, erasing the last traces of the Cyber Queen's code. The server went silent, her presence vanished, and the network was finally free. Kenji emerged from the digital world, exhausted but triumphant. He had done it. He had defeated the Cyber Queen once and for all.